Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting for Tuesday, May 14th. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:30 a.m. And I will confirm that all members of council are attending this meeting. Two of our councilors, Councilor Booth and Councilor Ainsworth, are joining us on Zoom. And we also have the presence of our municipal clerk. I'll go to number 2, which is territorial land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the township of Alma-Cullivan is located on the Mississauga and Ashanindic territory. That is the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Ashanindic. The township of Alma-Cullivan respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain their responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Item number 3, the approval of the agenda. That the agenda of the regular council meeting held on May 14, 2024 be approved. Do I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councilor O'Neill, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, that'll be noted. Move on to approval of the minutes. We have 2 minutes. Council meeting minutes, one for the April 26th meeting, and the second one is for the April 30th meeting. And I'll read the resolution that the minutes of April 26, 2024 special council meeting and April 30, 2024 municipal planning regular council meetings be adopted. Do I get a mover and seconder? Councilor Booth and seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussions? I do have one question, and it's regarding the minutes of April 30th. And I believe that resolution 3006 is for the township to hold a public meeting and invite Northumberland County and Habitat for Humanity. That's basically what that is. Okay. And I just want to make sure that that isn't taking a lot of staff time or anything else like that, because I don't want to take a lot of staff time unless it's going to be productive. Go ahead.
So through you, Mayor Rubel, yes, our Parks and Agriculture coordinator is working with the county to arrange that session. So we'll just be facilitating the space, and the county will then be providing.
Good, perfect. And I do have one other one that I think we did discuss for a fair bit of time, the UV system that we're putting in the municipal buildings. I thought we were, during that discussion, we also talked about the need for staff to take an evaluation of the different community centers and see if they're paying for themselves, basically. Did we make a motion to do that? I know we discussed it. Go ahead, Dave.
Through your mayor, I do recall direction being given to staff to put a report together. And I do believe that Emily was gathering information from this part. So
Should there have been a mover and a seconder for that resolution? And I didn't see it.
We can go back and check the recording.
Okay.
And see if there was something formally, but it was staff's understanding that would be great.
Thank you.
So we can just double check.
Thank you. Very good.
I mean, that's something that's sort of ongoing with staff when they're looking at the usage and the revenue that's coming in. So it's just more, I think we'll just fall into what we're normal doing in many ways, as opposed to a separate activity.
Okay. I was under the impression that council wanted to do some stuff rather than just the norms you're suggesting.
Yeah, I think
And
once
if we're
we,
going to do the norm, then we're going to get into the norm. And I think we have to look at other things as well. Go ahead.
sorry, I think it was just gathering that information, and that would be the next step, and we're over when that information's in front.
Okay.
That was my takeaway.
Any other comments from the council? All right. So you'll check that out then? Good, thank you. All in favor? All units? Motion is carried. Motion to receive committee report, oh, both the other ones, there's no any business arising from the previous minutes? Any delegations, no delegations, committee reports, pardon me. We have committee reports. And the first one is from the Ganarasta Regional Conservation Authority. I guess that's the only one. So that the agenda item 8.2 on the May 14th regular council meeting agenda be received for information. I get a mover and a seconder, moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Booth. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Fire department report, there's no fire department report. Building planning department reports. We have one report, and that's regarding the sewage system inspection services agreement. I'll read the recommendation and then we'll move forward. The council received report building 2024-02, the sewage system inspection service agreement with Northumberland County for information, and that a bylaw be brought forward for consideration to authorize the municipal clerk to enter into agreement with Northumberland County for the provisions of the sewer system inspection service with the township. I can move in a second, on the floor. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding the report? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor. So I just kind of would like to see our options, what we could do. I mean, I like to try to keep as much stuff in house as we can when it comes to our township. Me personally, I don't know if it would be feasible for us to do our own inspections, and whether it would be our CBO or whether we'd have to have somebody else do them or trained to do them. I know at one time, Elma Coleman Township used to do them. And so I know Trent Hills is the only one that's kind of sitting out there on their own, doing their own inspections. So there must be a reason for that. And I just didn't get an answer exactly why they're kind of staying on their own to do that. So, you know, and because there's a number of things in the agreement also is that, you know, after we sign the agreement, they can change they can start changing the cost of the permits and stuff. Yeah, and I don't know if we are involved in that process to see if it's going to cost our residents more when they build houses and stuff for the permits and stuff through the county. And so I was just really like to see an option B that would keep that in-house, if that's possible.
Thank you. Couple of comments then. Mike, when does this agreement have to come be approved? Is there a date for anybody else?
I think it's the end of June.
And did you have a report? Staff have a report for that, or do you have a comment, Dave?
If there's a request from council to investigate further, we can do that. The agreement's provided attached, but we can look at it further and let council know what is associated.
Your comment?
I know, and perhaps you two were at the table for this discussion, so I was only sitting at home. But it's a very specialized skill that not all of the building officials had, and that really drove why they decided to have a person whose sole focus was that. And I think it was the right decision back in 2014. And I continue to think having one person who's an expert on sewer and septic is the right decision.
Thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
To you, Mayor Lobo, I concur with Councilor O'Neill. I used this service and it was pretty seamless. And I think with all the environmentally sensitive issues with septics right now, they're being more stringent, so I would suggest just supporting this.
Thank you. Further comments? Okay, I'll read, well, but I've already read the resolution. Everybody understand the resolution? All in favor as presented? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Public Works Department reports. There are none. Parks and Recreation Department reports. There are none.
There's one.
Pardon me.
There is one. Under Parks and Rec.
Pardon me, 12. We have a report regarding the community center lock systems. The recommendation is that council receive report PR 2024-001, community center lock replacement for information, and that council direct staff to implement option 1, replacing multi-T lock restricted models. Glad to move in a second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mayor Calvin.
Well, this is a low cost option. I'm also not sure it's a high priority item. They were replaced not very long ago at all the facilities. And, you know, this is the third time in the past decade I've seen this come before us to replace locks at the doors of Senate, and at least they have had that happen, and I think we're just picking the same option we've done twice before. So while it's not a huge item and I'm not going to get too upset about it, I also don't think it's much of a high priority.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Any comments from staff?
Councillor Ainsworth.
Oh, Councilor Ainsworth, sorry.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I guess my concern would be like also the fair board. I know they're probably using it about 10 times. I don't know if it would be a frustration coming and getting the key and bringing it back. Just a thought.
Thank you. Go ahead. Deputy, Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Vogel. Through you, Mayor, we did at the staff level discuss that and what we would do with our frequent users, so our long-term renters that have weekly rentals and such, so they would sign the key out for the length of their service with the clear understanding that it's for their intended rented dates only. And then there'd be mechanisms put in place to take that into account as well, should the keys be lost or only responsibility of repaying the building. So they wouldn't have to check in with staff or get the key signed and signed out for a weekly basis. We would, with our long-term weekly users, they would have a seasonal sign out.
Thank you. One other comment, if I could. I'm not sure, I'm sure Mayor Kaplan knows that this is the third time we've done it. Is this the first time though that we're actually ordering keys that can't be duplicated? I think that makes a lot of difference. Go ahead, Mayor Kaplan.
The original keys couldn't be duplicated either, but they just didn't know how many were out there at that point. But then the ones that are there now with the codes, yeah, they're pretty loosey goosey, especially I saw people texting the code to other people because they were the ones dropping off the buttons or something, so, yeah.
Does this system similar to the one here in Township office? Because there is a code that you have to put in and individually use, and you give it out to someone, then that's your responsibility. I just don't know whether that's the intent. Your comments, Scott?
No, I really don't have a comment. I think that this is going to be a stepping stone with respect to the other report that needs to come back with community centers. We know currently that the keys are a problem. We know that there are many other options out there for us to look at, but this is the one that came back being the least expensive and giving us the ability to clean up the keys. It's probably going to take, I would assume it's probably going to take 2 to 3 years before we end up at a conclusive direction to where we're headed with the community centers.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Option one? Opposed? All, that motion carried. That's, motion carried. Next is item 13, Treasury Department reports. No reports. 14, administration reports. We have 114-1. And it is for the Canadian Armed Forces Training Agreement. And I'll read the resolution that the council received report CA 02024-01 Canadian Armed Forces Training Agreement for information, and that the municipal clerk be authorized to sign an execution of the agreement with the Department of National Defense for the training exercise to be held June 9th, 2002, June 9th to June 25th, 2024. Should I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Boone, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Discussion? Go ahead, Mike.
Through you, Mayor. I just wondered if we can post this on our social media, and I don't know if people can go and kind of be spectators at any of this event. And also just the the neighbors that might be around there, what's going on, so they kind of have an idea before it happens, and it freaks them out a little bit. But I think the last time this happened, we did some kind of a social media and information thing that it was going on.
Go ahead, clerk.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, that is something that we can reach out to our contacts, for this, for in terms of what it is that we can promote. They do also do their own promotions, and they'll be reaching out to neighboring properties just to make them aware of the situation in the event, so that everybody's informed in case they hear anything that's of unusual noise. But they do reach out, but we will certainly reach out and see what else we can do at a municipal level as well.
Just to clarify, I understood Councillor Ainsworth asking that this is a public event. Is it a public event, or is this just for information? We have to agree with it, but they're just providing this for information.
So in terms of how public it is, that's one of the pieces that we'll seek clarity on when we reach out to the contacts, but we can certainly let the public know that there will be activity in the area, so that there's no alarms or anything of the sort.
I'm just not aware of there being actually a public event that they encourage people to come. Not just know, so
There absolutely are not public events. These are training exercises that they do with respect to our national defense. So that is definitely something. That's this is an agreement between township and Canadian Armed Forces. It is for the set dates, and it is for the identified events within the agreement. But there's to be no public presence.
I do agree that the council mentioned that it would be good for the public and living in the area to know. I think that's being addressed through social media as well as themselves. All in favor? Motion's carried. 14 through. Encroachment request 526-108 Curtis Point Road. It is recommended that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Valley Sullivan enact as follows. The council received report CLK 2024-11, encroachment on a portion of a road allowance in the Township of Valley Sullivan for information, and that bylaw number 10-2023 repealed and a new bylaw be brought forward for consideration to authorize the mayor and the municipal clerk to execute an encroachment agreement with the new owners of 526108 Curtis Point Road in Rosemead. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor or Deputy Mayor Stover, and seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? Report was pretty clear. Any further? All in favor? Motion is carried. Use of roads in the Northumberland County Forest. This is an amendment to the agenda. So this is regarding use of Northumberland County Forest Road And it is recommended the council of the corporation of township of Allen Cullivan enact as follows. The council received report CLK 2024-13 use of roads in Northumberland Forest for information. And that a bylaw be brought forward for consideration to authorize the extension of the existing agreement between the township of Allen Cullivan and Northumberland County for use of the roads within the Northumberland County forest boundaries. Could I get a mover and a second, please? Moved by Councillor O'Neill and seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to communications. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Cullivan enact as follows. That agenda items 15.2 to 15.13 on the May 4th, 2024 regular council meeting agenda be received for information. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those. And the motion reads that we receive for information. So if there's anything that you want to pull out of that for discussion, we can do that. So if you do have something, you should bring it to our attention now. Very Catherine?
I have 15.6, please, regarding cemetery and census.
Okay. Anybody else want to pull anything else out? Mike?
Through you, Mayor. Not so much that I want to pull it out. I would just like to have more clarification on the one from Grimsby for the Bill C-63 and online the online harassment and bullying and stuff. But usually when you see something like this here, there's more in the weeds when it comes to social media and freedom of speech. So I would just, pardon me?
15.5, you're asking if people for
Yeah.
discussion?
Until we have more information on the whole bill.
Okay. Anybody else have any other ones they want to pull? Which means there's no decisions made on them, they're just receiving for information. Everybody's happy with that?
So Mayor,
Yes,
sorry, if we can just get a little bit of second to receive.
we can get it. Okay, thank you. So there was, what did I say, there was 12 items there. So we're gonna receive for information, and I'll take a mover and a seconder, and if there's nothing brought up after that, then we're going to assume those are all received for information, and the other two that we've got so far, we'll discuss specifically. Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover. Seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. All in favor? Motion is carried. Are there any other ones that somebody wants to pull out? I'd like to pull out the one for 15.9 for discussion. Okay, anybody else have anyone who want to pull? Go ahead.
I would say 15.10.
Okay,
Size of 15.
any other ones? Seeing none? Okay, so the ones that we're receiving for information include item 15.2, item 15.3, item 15.4, item 15.7, item 15.8, item 15.11, item 15.12, item 15.13.
So we do have, all of the items 15 to 13, received for information, so we're clear in that piece. So now it's just moving on to the individual pieces that the council members wanted to discuss to see if they wanted to support further. Specific.
So, the first one was item 15.5. And who wanted to discuss that? Mike, okay, Mike?
Well, for me, 15.5 is that Bill 63, through you, Mayor, and, I would like to know the weeds, like that, the whole part of it. I mean, 'cause it talks about people getting put in jail, over, some, disputes or stuff, and I get it, the parts that they're talking about that are on our agenda. But I would like to see more of in the weeds part of Bill C-63, because, when you come to, disagreeing with somebody on social media and say it's your parliament or something like that, that you don't agree what they're doing. And, there's, I'd like to see the level of freedom of speech where you can actually disagree and not make it look like you're, harassing or intimidating or bullying somebody. So that's my concern with Bill C-63. All the other stuff, I mean, I agree with it, and the bullying and the harassment, intimidating and stuff, but it's the weeds part of it that we need to read about if we're going to support it, and not take away our freedom of speech.
Okay. Is there any way we can get some information for Mike to read the Bill 63? Nothing, go ahead.
Since this isn't directly dealing with the business of our municipality, I think it should be Councillor Ainsworth can do his own research, since this is a bill that's not part of our municipality. And we're just receiving for information today, Councillor Ainsworth. We're not doing any action based on what we've received. Unless you want there to be action.
What do you want to do, Mike?
Well, Mayor, I wonder if we could maybe bring it back next month and give us time to read the whole bill. And maybe reach out to our MPP office and get their intake on it.
Oh, you're allowed to do that if you so wish. So you need to make, anybody else have any? So you need to make a resolution or of what you'd like to do, Mike.
Well, I'd just like to make a motion to pull this and give us another month to look into it more. And have a better idea of what the whole bill is about.
Okay, so you're asking for staff to defer this until later.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can I get a seconder for that motion? Go ahead.
If I may, instead of defer, could we just ask that staff bring back a high-level report with more information on the content? Just for clarity. We'll just bring.
You hear that, Mike?
Not really, just broken up a bit.
Okay, clear?
Yeah, instead of defer, just that staff bring back more information on the subject matter to a future.
Okay,
Mary Copper?
Again, I don't think that's an appropriate use of our staff time to, because it does not directly impact on the municipality.
There's a motion on the floor. Can I get a second? Seconded by Councilor Booth. Any further discussion? Go
Mayor,
ahead.
through you, Mayor, I mean, I could do my own legwork on this, instead of putting it out to staff, if you want to do that.
Now you're changing the motion? No, and that's fine too.
Okay,
So you're gonna do the investigation yourself? Are you, holding it up?
yeah, if I can.
You still wanna hold it up and but you'll do the investigation yourself.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Booth, are you in favor of that? Can't hear you, but I got your finger. It's not on me, so center.
Yes,
Oh, there we
Okay, the motion's on the floor, all in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Next one is item 15.6. And it's regarding the Centerton Cemetery. Your Catherine, I believe you asked to hold this one.
Correct, I'd like to move that we waive their fee. I think, do you want my comment now or this motion?
Well, you give us a motion, then you can comment. Maybe I should read it, or should I? Correspondence from Linda Hart, Vice President and Treasurer of the Board of Trustees, Centerton Union Cemetery regarding request rental fee be waived for the Centerton Community Center. Can I get a mover in a second?
So I move that it be waived.
Okay. Can I get a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Is there any discussion on this? Go ahead, Gary Catherine.
Yes, and this is an issue I've spoken to before, the cemeteries, as they are. Churches close, those cemeteries are being moved to municipalities, and that is a growing expense for municipalities to deal with. In this case, when that church closed, it went to they formed their own board and it continues to operate under the board, and I think that's a good value for us. That there is a community group doing it, and it's a very small gesture to say we're glad that there's a community group taking responsibility for this cemetery for us to waive this fee.
Thank you. Further comments? Go ahead, Councillor Booth.
yes. Would staff be able to tell me how much is this worth? The waiving of the fee? How much is this? Is this $50, $20? What?
We're looking it up. $50?
Okay, and I'm just wondering then, and I don't mind, I agree with what you're saying, Mary Catherine, I'm just looking towards the future that these groups that are asking for a waiver of fees or in-kind donation, which I call it, is that we can make sure that we are giving them a form so that in the fall, they can fill that out, and at budget time, they can be coming with their request to council so that we can do this in advance. Because I'd like to record all these groups that are coming to us and asking for facilities for free.
Thank you. Can anybody tell me, is this cemetery still active?
It is in fact, I believe, our most active cemetery in there.
Okay. Good. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. The next item for further discussion is item 15.9, correspondence from St. Andrew's United Church drafted regarding request to fly pride flag during the month of June 2024. I've asked to have that pulled. My comments are that I think that we have to recognize the LGBTQ community, and in doing that, the easiest way to do that is to fly the pride flag. I looked through the what I could find on the pride. It's not very. Okay, yeah, thank you, Ms. Burke. Can I get over a second for this to be on the board? Second, moved by Deputy Mayor Stoller, seconded by Councilor O'Neill. Thank you, Burke. And the only thing that I'm not really clear on is whether that should be flown for a full month or a week, or there is no day, but if I read through several other places, the city of Toronto, for example, and many other ones, they recognize it for a week sometime rather than a full month. Go ahead, Mary Catherine.
Do we have a flag policy, I should say?
Do we have a policy? Yes. I'm not sure it specifically references the pride.
Well, I think, policy should answer your questions, where I was going with that about, term and which flags we choose.
This, if I may as well, Mayor Local, this does ask for during the month of June.
Full month.
Doesn't say.
Go ahead, Councilor Blumen.
I would agree with the mayor's comment. I think if we're gonna do it, I wouldn't approve of a whole month of flying the flag. Because if you have 3 or 4 groups that want a whole month, the Canadian flag's not gonna be up there at all. I would agree that the Pride Week, that we can put it up for the 1 week and that's fine. But 30 days seems kind of excessive. I'd agree to a 1 week.
Mary Catherine.
I'd like to receive that, flag policy from our staff, because I don't think we should be winging it here and saying, I feel this would be good or that would be good. I think it's our job to have policies in place and then follow those policies. Because as Councilor Wu says, there may be many groups that want to fly a flag and, you know, we should, that's our job. As councilors, now, policy can follow policies.
If I can, the other thing that the staff is, somebody mentioned, we fly the Canadian flag and the pride flag, and I don't think there's that choice, but I'm not sure that we have enough flag poles to have all of them up, so perhaps we could ask staff to take and report back to the next meeting. Go ahead, Dave.
Through your mayor, we do not have flag policy, to my knowledge, and it is on the list to be. So that will come back to council.
Okay, thank you. So we do have to wing it today.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I agree with Councillor Booth. I think a week is sufficient. And he brought up a very good point about, you know, this could get out of hand with other things going on and stuff. So I'd say a week is sufficient.
Thank you, Mike. Any other comments? Well, since I brought it up, I'll suggest that we ask staff to go back, take a look at it, and maybe not get the whole flag policy completed for next month, but we need to have something for the next 2 weeks so we can make a decision for the end of May 20, meeting, I believe it is. Which would give us in there in time and still give us a week or a month or whatever we'd like to display that. So, can I get someone to, it's on the table, can someone make that resolution? Okay. Okay,
Sorry, so the first resolution on the floor that we have been seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. And Councilor O'Neill was that we support the flying of the flag.
Okay.
So we have that line right now. Are we deferring that until a flag policy is brought forward? Is that what I'm understanding? Yeah. So we're going to get a motion to defer until those policies.
No,
yes,
that was not my understanding of it, that we would proceed and do something during the month of June. But further to that, we would like to see this, with my take on what happened there.
well, mine was similar, except I'm saying that we need to have a policy for the pride flag for this month, and then
Right, we need,
we can follow up with a full recommendation from staff regarding flying the flags and the policy statement.
Right. yeah, so I think to that middle step that you're referring to, Mayor Local, is finding out where we put fly the flag. It's more of an operational type of question. You can report back to us what we decide, or you decide where it can be put.
Okay, percolate. You've got time to percolate.
Just trying to,
Do you want
remember that's here.
me to try and? Oh, wouldn't be an amendment, it would be an addition, I guess, an amendment.
Yeah.
Saying and further, that staff will select a location for 1 week in June 2024, and at a future date, bring back the flag policy.
So at this point. So we're trying to do too many things at once.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So
Let's,
I'd say let's get something for Flag Day or Pride week or whatever you suggest, and then follow it up with a policy for flying flags.
So let's do this in two parts. So the original motion that we had was that the request be supported. And that was moved and seconded, but then we had a motion to defer until the flag policy is brought forward to help guide parameters for flying of third party flags. So does that, so it doesn't delay or reject anything, sorry, it doesn't reject anything, it just delays it until the May 28th meeting.
Yeah,
It's not- And then that still gives you time to meet the June deadline. Okay. Is that,
And would you, just so we are clear, are you saying you have a flag policy by May 28th or not? You're saying you want to take some time to do that.
we take some time to do a policy, but we can certainly have a recommendation back as to, you know, do a preliminary review and bring forward a recommendation as to how.
and for the next meeting.
So you're having that June? Yeah, and your captain seconded that. Any questions or comments from our friends of wherever? All in favor? Motion's carried. Next one we have is the correspondence from St. Andrew's Church, Grafton, request for a proclamation of World AIDS Day, December 1st, 2024. Could I get moved or second? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councilor Booth. Go ahead. Deputy Mayor.
Through your mayor local, we have been supporting this all along for the last, I know I've been involved the last 2 years. And I would put forward that we do it again in December, the proclamation. World AIDS Day, December 1st.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. That, I believe, completes all the correspondence. So we'll move on to bylaws. First one is bylaw 16-1. Bylaw 34-2024 to appoint deputy treasurer. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Sullivan enact as follows. The bylaw 34-2024 being a bylaw to appoint Aaron Andrus as deputy treasurer be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 14th day of May 2024. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
okay, so I'm quite surprised to see this on our agenda. There's no staff report to go along with it. It doesn't fit with the direction that was given at the time of our budget discussions, as I understood them anyway, was that this would come back, any new positions as such would come back as part of a bigger picture, and I know there would be a bit of pushback that, well, wait a minute, Councilor O'Neill, you voted against that organizational review. I want to be clear that when I voted against it, I stated, and I still believe it, my concern was that I wanted a broader review than what was being presented, not that I was opposed to that review, and I think we should say that this was part of the review. Further, it does not read as temporary. We've got 2 more items in this agenda. Today, one dealing with the job description of the CAO, which includes, that it has, includes coverage for this situation. And further, that we have 16.3, which we have discussed previously, and that I am in support of. And finally, that we do have the option to look for a temporary employee through AMCTO if we need, for it to be a temporary situation.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead, clerk, Ms. Clerk.
So through you, Mayor Logan, so, Councilor, so I hear your concerns. The 2 bylaws that are before you addressing the treasurer position, finance positions, these are implementing council's direction to appoint a interim treasurer. So the reason that we see a deputy treasurer bylaw here is a way for us to implement council's decision to appoint an interim treasurer. But because we're not allowed to have 2 treasurers appointed at the same time, and the resignation of our current treasurer, her appointment would expire until the last day of work, which would be May 26th. So in order for us to provide coverage during the final 2 weeks of her employment when she's on holidays, but to ensure that we still have the financial operations covered and the authorities in place, that is why we've gone with the deputy treasurer position. To help with council's appointment of an interim treasurer. This is basically, it's a technicality of the legislation in that the municipal act indicates that we shall have a treasurer in place, but that a deputy treasurer can be appointed and will have in the absence of a treasurer, will have the full authority and abilities to act as treasurer. So since we're losing our treasurer due to resignation, this is just providing that temporary interim coverage to allow us to still have those financial controls and authorities in place. If you look further into bylaw 36, a little further down, to appoint an interim treasurer, that's the piece that that fully implements council's decision, council's direction to staff. At the last closed meeting that we had, which was to have that interim position, and that bylaw number 36 repeals effective May 27th bylaw 34. So it's just a hiccup, I suppose, if you will, just in order to make sure that the will of council is being implemented, the township has the correct staffing in place to make sure our legislative requirements are covered. And then everything after that. So once bylaw number 36, once we go through the appointment process, the recruitment process and appointment of a new full-time permanent treasurer, that takes that into account, and the deputy treasurer position does not exist because it's being repealed by this interim.
Sorry, that's in 16.3, if I'm just scrolling to
Correct.
see where I'm looking at that. What page is that, sorry?
Yeah, 16.3, so it's bylaw 36. I'm not sure if we.
Too far, I'm down to 39 then.
So it's
191,
essentially,
is it?
this is a 2-part process to make sure that we have those financial controls and our coverage, to ensure that financial functions can still exist as of May 14th, and then can meet our legislative requirements.
Go ahead, Mayor Duffy.
Okay, I can see that now. This is why I would love to have a staff report, and I know, I did send a question, but I don't believe I got an answer, but anyway. Okay. That does make me feel more comfortable, because reading it on its own, it was very, seemed like it was out of what we had discussed. But I do see here that it is repealed as of 11:59 PM on May 26th.
My turn is full. Go ahead, Greg.
Yes, I understand what Councillor O'Neill is saying. I was just wondering whether it would have been easier. Our current treasurer, you're saying, is paid until May 26th. In places I've worked before, what they've done is just said, well, we're going to pay that person out their vacation, and their last day would be this Friday, and then we just make one motion to say that, you know, the person that we're gonna have in there is effectively the treasurer, but I guess it's half dozen, one or the other or whatever, but it makes sense now that you've explained it. So as long as the deputy treasurer is dissolved after she takes over treasurer, I'm fine with that.
Go ahead, Clerk. Ms. Clerk.
Yes, Councillor Booth just offered the reassurance that the deputy treasurer position does become repealed and invalid as of May 26th.
Okay.
Mike?
So I'm, Mayor, I'm good with it here. Emily explained it pretty good, so thank you.
I guess, maybe you could help me, Wanda, when I see the yellow around that, does that mean anything or not?
It just means that they've made a noise and it lights up.
Okay. You're making noises like. Actually, I'll be perfectly honest with you, when I read this the first time, I was confused. And I had Emily explain a little bit to me, and I understand it much better, and it's unusual to do it this way, and perhaps Greg's got a good way too. I'm not gonna comment on that one way or another, but I do understand the philosophy and the reason behind it. Your copy?
Just a little bit of why staff reports help.
Okay, any further comments? All in favor of the bylaw? Motion is carried. Next is bylaw 35, 2024, to authorize the execution of an agreement with Northumberland County for sewage system inspection services. It is recommended the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Alma enact as follows: that bylaw 35, 2024, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement with Northumberland County for sewage service inspection services, be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passes 14th day of May 2024. Move and second. Moved by Councilor O'Neill and seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, I would just like to see something in the agreement where if there's any changes to this agreement, that it's brought back to all municipalities, not just ours. So that the, county can't just change it on their own.
Okay. Any comments on that? Go ahead, Mayor Cotton.
I think when you sign an agreement, if you're going to change that agreement, it is brought back, so I think that is covered.
Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. 16.3, bylaw 36, 2024, to appoint an interim treasurer. It is recommended the Council Corporation of the Township of Alma enact as follows: that bylaw 36, 2024, being a bylaw to appoint Aaron Andrus as interim treasurer, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passes 14th day of May 2024. Mover and seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover. Second by Councilor Booth. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mayor Cotton.
I'm just worried about timelines and staff workload with this. If we are unable to fill the position in a timely fashion, do we have a plan for what happens in that case?
You want to comment on that? Sorry.
So through you, Mayor Lovell, yes, we do have a plan. This is a position that has been moved to the top of the list in terms of our current recruitment activities. So the position is currently undergoing review, and we will be posting for that as soon as possible, recognizing that the wearing of multiple hats is not an ideal situation, especially for one with such responsibility and accountability as a treasurer's role. So Aaron is. It is certainly something that is being worked on sooner than later.
And you're saying that the job description is going to change something too?
As with any vacancy that we have come available, we always do a review just to make sure that there's alignment with current goals and responsibilities that fall within that department. Sometimes other duties as assigned become more proficient. So just making sure that the true role is being captured before we go out into this work.
Go ahead, Mary Catherine.
Well, I might be getting weeds on this one then, but I know that in the past, we have hoped as council to see quarterly budget and then as well as the annual, but we haven't always been receiving those in a timely fashion. Don't know if that's job description or if that's policy, and certainly the ability to update our policies and procedures in finance would be important. So just 2 items.
And do we share that job description? Do we share that job description with council?
So it will be once it's posted.
Further questions? All in favor? Motion is carried. B, bylaw number 37, 2024, authorizing the execution of an encroachment agreement. Bylaw 37, 2004, to execute an encroachment agreement 52610 Curtis Point Road. It is recommended that council of the corporation of Township of Melville Holden enact as follows: that bylaw 37, 2024, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an encroachment agreement with Christopher Grant Wanacott and Coleman Grant Wanacott and Sherry Brown be given a first, second, and third reading and final passes 14th day of May 2024. Move to second. Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. 16.5. Bylaw to amend bylaw 33, 2014, executing an agreement with Northumberland County for use of roads in Northumberland County forests. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Melville Holden direct enact as follows: the bylaw 38, 2024, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 33, 2014, and authorize the execution of an agreement with Northumberland County related to the use of roads in Northumberland County forests, be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 14th day of May 2024. Can I get a mover and second? Moved by Councillor for Deputy Mayor Thor, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. And I do have one question. Is there a date for this? How long we're extending the file?
Yes, so Mayor Vogel, it is, the county's authorized a 3-month, approximately a 3-month extension, so we're going towards the end of August of this summer.
Thank you. Mary Catherine?
Specifically, it's August 26th, it's the dated agreement.
Any further discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, I guess my concern would be the cancellation date. It would be August 26th to make sure that staff has time to do their homework on the roads and meeting with the user groups.
Yes, so we have determined that this is adequate for us to do the public engagement, have been working with Northumberland County and already meetings scheduled. In terms of next steps, and staff are already looking at setting up those public engagement pieces that are mentioned.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Motion's carried. Announcements and notices of motion. That the June 11th, 2024 regular council meeting rescheduled to Thursday, June 13th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Questions, comments? And that's to attend, and that's for a very good reason for staff to be taught that they would be. Questions, comments? And okay, fellas? All in favor? Move in a second, sorry. Can I get a move in a second? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stoller and seconded by Councillor O'Neill.
Holding up their share over there and moving it like everything.
All in favor? Motion is carried. The next one is for information more than anything. There is a person who is traveling from Niagara Falls to Ottawa, and he'll be passing through Alma Cullivan on Highway 2 next Saturday on May 25th, 2024. I believe he's traveling from over to Brighton that day, so I expect he'll be going through fairly early. It would be nice if we could have someone there to meet with them. And I'm suggesting members of the public as well as council as well. Fortunately, I've got a previous commitment that morning, and as long as he's passing through by before 8:30, I'm fine. So I'm hoping someone can join and attend. And he will be walking, as far as I understand, all the way through the village. So that's for information. The other thing that I would like to mention for information is that the county has announced their planning timetable for changes to the properties.
Oh,
That is coming up. There's two sessions. There's one for sure on the 23rd of May from 4 to 7 p.m. I believe it is. And that's open to the public. There is one in June. I'm going to say June 6th, but I don't want to hold it on that. So that's for all the different plans they do have to possibly changing the zoning from one to another. That's all I have to report. Does anybody else have any? Mary Catherine?
I do plan to attend that on May 23rd. The library today has an exciting author, a very popular author, Sherry Lapina. Will be doing a presentation at 2 o'clock, so the rest of you be quick during close so that I can get up there for that. And the last week I was invited to participate as a family member in the Inclusion Northumberland accreditation process. Fabulous activity. I was very, very impressed. It used to be community living, they rebranded it. And they do have a couple of events coming up, one in Campbellford, where they are at Unity Square and the Aaron Theater has activities going on, and the other one is an ice cream social, which I'm sure you would all want to go to on May 29th in Coburg. So I picked up an extra package that I will be putting in the mailboxes. Of note and interest to us, when they were setting new goals, two of their goals will impact us here in Homewood Baldwin. One was to reach out more to the other areas that they're not as active in, and I believe we will see them here as a delegation at some point to inform us on what they're doing in their goals. And the other is to increase their education. So they're looking at working through the libraries to do that. So great things happening there, and look for this in your mailbox, and when you're done with it, just pass it on to the next person. And
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We're going to go into closed session next. So I'll read the recommendation. It is recommended the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Alma Cullivan, Niagara Falls, at the regular council meeting of May 14, 2024, move into a closed session under Municipal Act Section 239 PB for personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local employees. Proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by the municipality. Regarding committee and board member management, staffing matters, proposed acquisition of land, and MOU for land use. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Thank you, staff, thank you, council.
Thank you, Rick. We'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, we're moving on to report on closed session. And Mayor Local's report on closed session be received for information, and my report states that council discussed a number of items in closed session related to the committee and board management, staff matters, and a proposed acquisition of land. And staff will provide direction and will proceed as discussed in those closed minutes. Or as part of the minutes. Can I get a mover in a second for that? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Councilor O'Neill. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Confirming bylaw number 39-2024, confirmation confirmatory of bylaw 39-2022, confirming bylaw regular council session of May 14, 2024. The bylaw 39-2024 being the bylaw to adopt the proceedings of the regular council meeting held on the 14th day of May 2024, and to authorize its execution and given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 14th day of May 2024. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councilor O'Neill. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. And the final motion is to adjourn that the regular council meeting held on May 14, 2024 be adjourned at 3:30 p.m. Mover and seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for doing it. Probably get it
Thanks,
done.
everybody. Yeah,
Okay.
take care. We'll see you.